Hello everyone, welcome to the mathematics class by Mr. Sandeep from the Millennium School Mohali. As you all know, our day-to-day working is not possible without mathematics. In every aspect of our life, mathematics is there. So today we are going to discuss a concept of the maths which we are using every day. We all are familiar with that concept, but there is only the need to understand it now theoretically. So before moving to our today's topic, it becomes very important to define a term which is named as variation. So first of all, we will understand the meaning of the variation. Then we will move to the main topic. So variation words come from the English alphabet, English word that is vary. And what is the meaning of vary? That means change. So whatever the activities we are doing in our day-to-day life, many of them they are involving the two quantities. For example, in the simple way, I can tell you, if you are going to the market to purchase a few pencils, then the cost that you have to pay, that totally depends on the number of pencils that you are buying. If you are buying a single pencil, then it is costing you rupees 5, and if you are buying 5 pencils, that it is going to cost you rupees 25. Mean to say, the total cost depends on the number of pencils that you are going to buy, right? So here the two quantities are there. The first one is the number of pencils and the second one is the cost. So definitely the second is depending on the first one. If there is a change in the first one, then there is a corresponding change in the second one also, right? So now you can read the definition of the variation. If two quantities depend on each other in such a way that a change in one result in a corresponding change in the other, then the two quantities are said to be in variation or proportion. So the example I have given to you. So the second quantity is depending on the first one. Mean to say, the both are in the variation. And here also I have used the second word, that is proportion. They are not any different thing. Both are having the same meaning, right? In some of the books they are using the word variation, and in others one they are using the word proportion. So don't get confused between the two words. You can use any of the two words, right? So now I have told you there is a relationship between the two quantities, and depending on their relationship or the change that occurs between them, we are having two types of variation. The number one is direct proportion and the second one is inverse proportion. So today in this lecture we will discuss more and more about the direct proportion, and in the next lecture we will discuss only the inverse proportion. So if you want to understand the topic clearly, we have to engage ourselves in some of the problems. Okay, so we are going to discuss about the direct proportion. So let's have a look on some of the examples. So here we have to engage ourselves in the problems to have the deep knowledge of the topic. So you can have a look on the screen. You are having 4 examples which are visible to you, and 2 are given on the left hand side and 2 are given on the very right hand side. So first of all, I am going to discuss with you the problems which are given on the left hand side. So just have a look on this. For example, you are moving on your vehicle and you are covering 60 km in 1 hour. And if I am asking you how much distance will you cover in 3 hours? So definitely more distance will be covered, because in 1 hour you are covering 60, and in more time you will definitely cover the more distance, right? So second quantity is depending on the first quantity, right? Then let's move to the next example, that is cost of 1 burger is equal to rupees 20 and the cost of 5 burgers. And definitely you must be able to give the answer for this, because many of you are going to the market every day to eat the burgers, right? So the cost of one burger is rupees 20, then definitely the cost of 5 burgers will be more than rupees 120. Sorry, 20 rupees. So one quantity is depending on the other one. Now have a look on the problems which are given on the right hand side. The cost of 12 bananas, that is equal to rupees 60. Then what can you say about the cost of 6 bananas? That will be definitely less than rupees 60. Okay, so why this is happening? Because there is a decrease in the first quantity, then there will be definitely decrease in the second one also. Clear? Then move to the last example. Cost of 12 pence, that is also from your general life. Many of you are going to the market to buy the pens. If you are getting a pack of 12 pens and that is costing rupees 120, but you are not having enough money to buy the whole pack. So what you will do? You will buy the less number of pens. Suppose you are buying 6 pens. So that is the common sense only. Then you have to pay less. Clear? So lesser the things, lesser will be the cost. So what can you conclude from these problems? So read all these 4 problems on the left hand side and the right hand side very much carefully. And now if you want to know more and more about these problems, that what we are gaining from them, we have to explore the things, right? So let us find out, let us explore what we have got from the last few examples that we have discussed. So just have to concentrate on the left hand side and the right hand side. So number 1 is there, the 2 quantities are involved. So you have gone through all the 4 examples. In all the 4 examples you can note down the 2 quantities are involved always, right? Then come to the second point. If one is increasing, other also increase. On the left hand side you can see 2 examples. The first quantity is increasing, which is causing the increase in the second one, right? So then come to the third one, which is regarding the right hand side problems. If one is decreasing, other is also decreasing. So that the third thing we have noticed over there, right? Suppose if the quantities, 2 quantities were there, we are just giving the name to the first quantity A, and to the second quantity we can give the name B, right? Then above cases can be represented by the arrow diagram. So you can see for the left hand side problems, the 2 arrows are shown upward. If there is increase in A, then there is corresponding increase in B also. And the second figure is given for the right hand side problems. If there is a decrease in the first quantity, then definitely there is going to be decrease in the second one also, right? So here we have explored that we have got 2 types of changes. If one is increasing, other quantity is also increasing. If one is decreasing, then the second one is also decreasing. So these 2 types of changes we have note down in the above mentioned problems. Clear? So on the basis of this we can now define we can explain the meaning of direct proportion. So if one quantity increases, other also increase, or if one quantity decrease, other also decrease, then the 2 quantities are said to be in direct proportion. So wherever in your general life you are getting this type of changes, then the 2 quantities are said to be in the direct proportion. I hope you have understood the topic. So the definition is given over here. After that we can give the mathematical also, that A is proportional to B. You can see on the screen A is proportional to B, that is the sign for proportionality. And further we can replace the sign of proportionality with is equal to sign. A will be equal to K times of B. So further you can shift the B on the left hand side in the denominator. So that will give you A upon B is equal to K, where K is constant of proportionality. Clear? The name is there, K is constant of proportionality. It means Throughout the problem, the k is going to be remain the same because the word constant has been used over here. Clear? So what is k? That is the ratio of the two quantities, a upon b. A upon b is also called as the ratio. You can also write down a upon b is equal to a ratio b. So the ratio of the two quantities is always called the constant of proportionality. If you now till now we have defined the definition of the direct proportion and we have given the mathematical relation also, and now if you want to interpret it on the graph paper, then always the graph will be a straight line, so which is given on the your screen on the right hand side. So if you draw the graph between the two quantities, that is a and b, then always you will get a straight line. Otherwise you can also say, if the graph between the two quantities a and b, if it is a straight line, then definitely they are going to be in the direct proportion, right? So I hope you have understood that what is the direct proportion, and still I am going to revise one more time. If one is increasing, other quantity is also increasing, that means the two ratios are in the, or you can say the two quantities are in the direct proportion. Otherwise, if one is decreasing, other one is also decreasing, then the two quantities are again in the direct proportion, right? So to know more and more about the direct proportion, or to have the hold on the topic, we have to now solve a few problems which are based on the topic direct proportion. Now let's try to solve the question number 1. Check whether x and y are in the direct proportion or not. The table is given to you. You can see on your screen a few values of x are given to you. The values which are written in front of x, that is 2, 5, 6, 7. You can look at here 2, 5, 6, 7. Check out carefully. The values are increasing turn-wise. Then have a look on the values of y, 12, 30, 36 and 42. So they are also increasing, right? Here the data can also be read as, when the value of x is equal to 2, the y is equal to 12. When x is equal to 5, the y is equal to 30. X is equal to 6, then y will be equal to 36. And in the last, when x is equal to 7, then y will be equal to 42. So it's very important, you must know that how to read the given data which is given in the table, right? So here we have to check x and y, they are in direct proportion or not. So in the definition I have explained you, there will be two types of changes. First one, if one is increasing, other one is also increasing. If one is decreasing, other is also decreasing, right? So that I have shown over here, that there is increase in the values of x and therefore there is a increase in value of y also. But still we need to check out the ratio, the mathematical relation that we have got in the definition. So see here how to solve this. So you will find out the ratios of all the values, that is 2 upon 12. The corresponding ratios values you have to take only, that is x upon y, mean to say 2 upon 12. How much is that? That is after cutting you are getting 1 upon 6. Then the second ratio you have to check out, 5 upon 30, that is after cutting also giving you 1 upon 6. That's very good. Then come to the third ratio, that is 6 upon 36. After getting in the lowest term we are getting 1 upon 6. That is also same. And then come to the final one, that is 7 upon 42. So again after cancelling the terms we are getting 1 upon 6. So here you can see all the ratios are equal to each other and they all are equal to 1 upon 6, right? If you remember the relation, here the k constant of proportionality, that is coming out to be 1 upon 6 and it is same throughout in all the cases. So therefore we can say x is directly proportional to y. So that is the solution for the given question. How to check now x and y in the direct proportion or not? You have to check out all the ratios. If they are coming same, then they are in the direct proportion. Otherwise, if any of the ratio is not coming equal to others, then you can directly write down that x is not directly proportional to y. Clear? Then come to the question number 2. You can have a look on the given table. That is not new table, only that is the reverse of the table which is given in your question number 1. So I am not going to solve this question number 2. That is your work. You have to solve it yourself. Okay. So you have to check out x and y, they are in direct proportion or not. And this time I have given the data in the descending order. Okay. Whether the data is given in the ascending or descending order, your ratio should also come out to be same, that is 1/6. Okay. So it is totally your work. You have to do it as your homework. So let's move to the another question, number 3. Now in this question you are given already that if A and B vary in direct proportion, okay, find the missing entries. So it is already given that A and B are in the direct proportion. What do you mean by direct proportion? If the quantities are in the direct proportion, then their ratios must be equal to each other. Clear? So we will do the starting from here only. Since A and B are in the direct proportion, then first ratio, that is 64/8, should be equal to the second one, that is x/2, and you can also write down first ratio, that is 64/8, is equal to the third one, that is 8/y. So from here we can find out the values of x and y after solving this. Okay. So what is the method of solving? That are the old method that we have learnt in our junior classes. Cross multiplication, shifting the terms, and rules are same as we have learnt before. So on the left hand side, the 2 will be crossing on the left hand side. So that will give you how much? 8 multiplied by 2, because 64/8 will give you 8, and 2 after multiplication, 8 2s are 16 you will get over here. So we are getting here x is equal to 16, and same type of calculation we can do on the right hand side also. So 64/8, that will give you 8, and 8 will be crossing in the denominator. Okay, and y will cross in the numerator. Why we are crossing? Because whatever value we need to find out, that has to be kept in the numerator. So you have to shift y from the right hand side to the left hand side in the numerator. So you are getting here y is equal to 1. So like this we can find out the missing entries. Clear? So the question was A and B were given in the direct proportion. So again we are applying the definition or the mathematical relation that we have got earlier, that the ratios, all the ratios should be equal to each other. So first can be equal to second, and even you can write down second is equal to third also, but here we are using 1 is equal to 2 and 1 is equal to 3. Why? Because we are getting the definite answer from the first ratio. That is the reason behind it. Otherwise you can equate any of the three. 1 is equal to 2, or 2 is equal to 3, or 1 is equal to 3. Right. So let's try to know more and more about the topic, that is direct proportion. Moving to our next question, number 4. This is also from your general life. A bike travels 412 kilometers on 28 liters of petrol. Right? You can say in 28 liters of petrol we can cover 412 kilometers. How far would it travel on 14 liters of petrol? So what is going on here in the problem? The quantity of the petrol is getting down. Okay, and then what should be there? That is from the common sense only. In these type of questions you have to apply your common sense first of all. One quantity is decreasing. Here what is the one quantity? That is the petrol. If you will have lesser amount of petrol, then definitely That is the common sense, that you have to travel or you can travel lesser amount of distance. So one is decreasing, other one will also be decrease. Second type of change, right? So clearly it is the case of the direct proportion. So for solving these type of question, we have to make the chart for this, and two quantities are there. On the upper row I have written petrol in liters, and in the second row I have written distance in kilometer. So in front of petrol you have to mention petrol only. So 28 is there, and then after that in the second statement it is going to be 14 liters. Then how much distance traveled? 412 in case of 28 liters, and for 14 liters we need to find out the kilometers or the distance that we have to cover. So that we have supposed over here equal to x. Then we have written clearly it is the case of direct proportion. It is very important to write down this line, because before using the relation, any relation or the formula, we have to give the reason behind it. So what is the reason? That it is of a direct proportion. So therefore the ratios will be equal to each other. What do you mean by ratio? That is 28 upon 412 will be equal to 14 upon x. Okay, after that what is left over here? Nothing, only you need to find the value of x after cross multiplying the terms. So you can see here the x is in the denominator. We cannot find out the value of any variable in the denominator. So it's very important to move the variable in the numerator. So we will cross it on the left hand side in the numerator. So you will get here x is equal to 14 multiplied by 412 divided by 28. So everything we have shifted according to the rules of transformation. So after cancelling the terms, we will get 206 kilometer. Clear? So that is your answer for this question, and you can check your answer in the exam also. So first we were having 28 liters of petrol. If the amount of petrol is decreasing, then number of kilometers has to be decreased, and you can check your answer 206. Okay, so we are getting less number of kilometers. It means our answer is correct, right? So let's have a look on the next question, that is question number 5. So if 18 dolls cost rupees 630, how many dolls can be bought in 455 rupees? That's very simple question, and again this is from your general life. We can also make the table for this given information. So here in this question again you are getting the two quantities, right? The first quantity is what? That is the number of dolls, and the second one is the cost. And definitely the cost will depend on the number of dolls. Lesser the number of dolls, lesser will be the cost. More will be the number of dolls, more will be the cost. Okay, that is the rule of the market. And how many dolls can be bought in rupees 455? We are getting less amount now this time. It means we can buy less number of dolls from this much money. Okay, it means our answer will come less than 18 rupees. Sorry, 18 dolls. So clearly it is the case of direct proportion. So we have understood the problem. It is of the direct proportion, because if there is decrease in one, then definitely the other one will also decrease. So that's why we are writing in the direct proportion. So therefore if the problem is of direct proportion, then the ratios must be equal. So what is the ratio over here? That is 18 upon 630 will be equal to x upon 455. So here only two ratios we are having, and they should be equal to each other. So after this we need to find out the value of x, and that is already in the numerators. So we are getting less work over here. Only there is a need to cross multiply 455 from right hand side to the left hand side. So what you are getting the equation over here? That will be x upon x is equal to 18 multiplied by 455 upon 630. So after that you need to do the calculation, cut the numbers, cancel the terms with their HCF or the common multiples, and for cutting you must know the rules for that, and finally you will get your answer as x is equal to 13. And you must mention what is 13 over here. It may be rupees also, it may be number of dolls also. So if you know it properly, try to mention over here that x is equal to 13 dolls, and that will be your final answer, right? So that is the solution for your question number 5. And till the time we have solved a few questions, that is from 1 to 5, the basic questions we have done, and there are so many problems which are given in your book also. Now you must be so much confident that you can solve the problems. I have shown you all these problems are from your general life. First of all, you have to use your common sense. Everything is depending on the common sense, because once you have got what kind of change is there, then you can find out which proportion is to be there, right? Because by the time we have done the single proportion only, in the next lecture when we will do the next one, that is inverse proportion, then in the exam you will be confused which type of proportion is there, right? So that means it is very important to recognize the problem is of which type of proportion. So keep in your mind, it is depending on the nature of the change, right? Increase, increase. Keep in mind the arrows diagram. Upward, both arrows are upward. It means both quantities are increasing. Both arrows are downwards. It means both quantities are decreasing. So these two types of changes are of direct proportion. Okay. So once you have got this is of direct proportion, then after that it's very easy to solve the given question, right? So now this is the time when you can evaluate yourself, right? So many things we have learnt about the direct proportion. So now we must be in the position to solve a few questions, and now we can evaluate ourselves from the given questions. So I have written over here the 3 questions from the reference book, and so many problems are even given in your books also. So including that, you have to solve these problems. Then only you will come to know that how much you have understood the topic. Okay. So otherwise I will keep on explaining you different questions. You will say, yes sir, we have understood each and every question. So definitely you are going to understand. Okay. But the main thing is, when you are sitting alone and you are doing the self-study, if you are able to solve all the problems which you are just picking them up, then we can say that yes, we have understood the whole topic. Okay. So this much only for this one topic. We will see you next in the next meeting. You can ask about your doubts, and that is only possible if you will do the self-study. So I hope you will solve these 3 questions along with your questions which are given in your book exercise. And in the last, I would like to say you very thankful to listen me so carefully, right? God bless you all. Thank you.